Hey everybody, Steve Schirmer, the Golf Gambling Podcast here with your one and done picks for the 2024 Travelers Championship, coming off a pretty poor week at the U.S. Open. That was devastating. Didn't pick Bryson, went with Victor Hovland, missed the cut, even though he rallied on Friday. I am really behind on my one and done pools with only a couple weeks to go, but let's see if we can maybe get a big payday at the Travelers Championship this week. They made a couple changes to the golf course. They narrowed some fairways, added some mounds, trying to make it a little more difficult after Rory called it obsolete. These guys are really good though, and I don't think it made a lot of significant uh, changes to the difficulty of the golf course. I still expect mid-teens, upper teens is still going to win it. It's going to get some rain. It looks like over the weekend to soften the golf course up. So, target your guys who tend to keep it up in front of them in the, off the tee here. Good with their short irons, can roll the rock on some bent POA surfaces. And I had a couple guys that I like for the Travelers Championship. So to give you a couple ideas for your one and done picks. Number 5, let's go with our top 5 picks to make this week. Number 5, popular pick, but an auto play is probably just Brian Harman at this place. He has been absolutely money at the Travelers Championships, a bunch of top 10s, playing okay golf coming in, a couple top 30s in a row, kind of hovering a little bit below the radar, but the iron play has been relatively good. Historically, he's a pretty good short iron. Putts really won. Bent POA surfaces, obviously really good, not just the Travelers, but a lot of the comp courses as well. So, he probably is going to be a popular name considering guys just down to the felt right now. They're looking for anything. But Brian Harman, probably a relatively safe pick, very popular, but probably a safe pick this week. Number 4, another probably safe pick. Patrick Cantlay finally found some form at the U.S. Open. This is what's tough about handicapping golf. Apparently, he was trying out new irons and a new driver all year. It wasn't going well for him. He finally went back to the old equipment, back to some old things with his coach, and all of a sudden it just magically clicked at the U.S. Open. That's the hard part about the sport. We just don't know this stuff sometimes, but assuming that old Patrick Cantlay is back and hitting the ball as well as what he used to. He dominates here. He's been really good. He probably should have won the Travelers Championship a couple of years ago at the one that Xander won. And, if the iron play has been really good, he rolls the rock really well on bent POA surfaces, really good at Travelers. Probably will be a popular pick this week, although probably a lot of people have already used him already. But if you haven't, definitely a legitimate chance to finally win and get back in the winner's circle. Hasn't won in a couple of years. Maybe this is the week to do it. Number 3, how about Sam Burns? You don't probably think that Sam Burns would be good at Travelers, one where you don't really spray it, kind of punishes bombers. But, first of all, we've seen Bubba Watson win the Travelers a couple times. So a bomber and a sprayer can definitely win here. But, Burns has a top 15 finishes. He's pretty good on some of the other comp courses too. TPC River Highlands like Innisbrook, TPC Scottsdale, TPC Southwind. So, and he's really good when you get on golf courses that command a lot of shorter irons. He's one of the better players in this field in proximity, bad shot avoidance, and strokes gained from under 150 yards over the last 2 years. Now, he lost strokes on approach at the U.S. Open, but that was a lot of longer approach shots, so I'm not really all that concerned. I like Burns this week. He's been playing well lately. A couple top 10s, played well the RBC Canadian Open a couple weeks ago. Got his first top 10 in a major. I like Burns this week. I think he's a fine one and done candidate. Number 2, Ludwig Aubert, coming off a very good finish at the U.S. Open. Unfortunately, the triple on 13 on Saturday sunk his chances. But otherwise, though, I'm just very impressed with the kid. He's got good composure, and he's been very good at a lot of these types of courses like TPC River Highlands. He won at Sea Island. He did very well at TPC Sawgrass. Now, statistically, one thing that I've noticed with Ludwig is that under 150 yards, if you go to Data Golf and look at that stuff, he doesn't profile as very good in that range, especially from 100 to 150. But I know, because I look at this stuff every single week, going back to Sea Island, the week he won, between 100 and 150 yards, which is a key range at that golf course, he was losing almost a full stroke per round on shots between 100 and 150 yards. That is now up to about 0.02 gained. So in about 6 months, 7 months or so, he has made significant ground to improving that area of the game. So if you're just looking at long-term stats there, he doesn't look good. But if you're just looking at since January 1st, he's been relatively solid from under 150 yards this year. So the fact that he's been improving and tightening that up, I like him a lot this week. I put him on my betting card. He definitely should be a one and done consideration coming off a good finish at the U.S. Open. But number one, obviously we're getting down to it this year. Don't have a lot of big names left, but a guy that I bet that I'm going to put on my one and done, make my one and done pick this week. How about Sahith Theegala? And I had concerns last week about him at Pinehurst because he can be pretty sloppy sometimes. Misses are punished. And I was worried that he couldn't hold up over 72 holes. And of course, that came to fruition. He got off to a really terrible start at the U.S. Open and put himself immediately out of it. But the kid showed toughness. He rallied and he didn't give up. He could have just mailed it in, said, I'm out of here. But he ended up being 1 under the rest of the tournament after starting, I think, 8 over. Ends up T32. People, I think, have maybe wrote him off a little bit because he was a very popular pick last week, got off to a horrible start. Maybe people just are sleeping on the fact that he actually did relatively well after that. So, and he's been really good at the Travelers. He came in second a couple of years ago. He's been good on some of these other shorter positional golf courses where you would think that bombers get punished, like in Innisbrook or Sea Island or Bay Hill or Sawgrass and TPC Scottsdale. And, he's been good at all those places. And so the fact that he's been good there and good at TPC River Highlands, it doesn't really makes me think that maybe he can do pretty well this week. And maybe he can actually prove his backers right with a good finish here. So Sahith Theegala, my one and done pick this week for the Travelers Championship. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to us on the Golf Gambling Podcast on Apple or Spotify, wherever you consume your podcasts. Shows. Also subscribe to us on YouTube. We give you free content every single week. Go follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok. We give you free content and random musings every single week on there too. So with that, good luck with your one and done picks for the Travelers. Good luck with your bets, and we'll see you next week for the Rocket Mortgage Classic.